Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are back for season 4 of Mocha in the Morning, where we're adding a little flavor to your morning blend. I am your host, Miss Keisha Boyd, and of course, I am welcomed by my wonderful co-host, my cafe con leche, officially Jorge.
Buenos dias. Happy premiere week, everybody.
We're so excited to be back for season 4.
In the studio.
Yes.
6 feet apart.
Oh, I can
reach.
almost grab him, but I can't.
Yes, we're like a mocha banana split. We're split down your TV screen.
Yes. Listen, there is so much for us to talk about, recap, so many things that happened over the summer.
You turned 40.
I did turn 40.
40. Fabulous for 40.
Listen, for my 40th birthday, I cut my hair. I hope you like it.
I love it. It's fabulous. And you did a photo shoot.
Yes, I did. I'm feeling pretty good about myself, honey. I'm feeling pretty good.
I want to repeat like turning 40.
I do too. I had a whole trip planned to Europe, as you know.
Girl, I don't even want to go there about
Okay.
where we were supposed to be
And
during the course of summer. But I know where you were. You were in your kitchen.
I was in
And
my
I did not
kitchen.
know. I had no idea that you could throw down like that in the kitchen. Like I didn't think that you couldn't cook. I just didn't know that you was just plating, like every time. Boom. This Sunday's plate, Monday plate,
Yeah.
a Tuesday plate.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, all right, Miss Keisha,
Yeah.
girl.
Look, I do a little something from scratch in the kitchen every now and then. Maybe I'll get to see later on.
What was it like adjusting to, your real life, like in the virtual? Because I know, like, when we were towards the end of season 3, we had to kind of switch and do like 100% virtual streaming. But for us, I don't think it was like, it was a very seamless transition for us. I just saw other shows kind of like struggling on how to figure that out because we've been doing this the way we've been doing it.
Look, we ain't new to this, we true to this, baby. But listen, everything is, now virtual, as you know, even the fashion world.
Yes. Oh, and hello. So I hope all of you are going to be around because tonight are the runway shows for Tampa Bay Fashion Week.
Oh, so
and
fun.
I'm so happy to be, I've hosted over half and you know who got me that gig though? Do you know who got me that gig?
I don't know.
Do you know who got me that gig?
I don't know. I think she's sitting across from you.
Right, we're twinning today.
Yes, boom. Listen, Born Black. We're supporting our artists, everything black. We're rooting for everybody black.
Yes,
Michael Kilgore, what's going on?
Which is going to be on the show later on this season.
Yes, he is going to be on our show. So we're so excited to be able to be back with you all for a season 4, and we have so much to talk to you about.
But first, coffee.
Welcome back once again to Mocha in the Morning, where we're adding a little flavor to your morning blend. Once again, I'm your host, Miss Keisha Boyd, and I'm joined by officially Jorge.
Buenos dias.
Yes, and we are ready to give you a little steamer. What you got for us?
Oh my gosh, I have a bunch of words. I need to take a sip.
Okay, take a sip, honey.
Because I got them for you. Okay.
I know you do.
So, this was bubbling up in the steamers. Vanessa Bryant responds to her mom's Beyond Hurtful interview about their relationship. Okay. Vanessa Bryant, the late Kobe Bryant's wife, looks like her and her mother are not
seeing eye to eye.
Yeah. And my mother did this interview. Just go to people.com and all that tea is all there, which is sad.
It is sad.
For that to be like happening. With so much loss.
Exactly.
I don't know, but I don't know if that's going to go anywhere, but I know like a lot of people are talking about innocent people, so I just thought, hey, like, where did this come from?
Right.
I could understand if it was on the other side, like with the mother-in-law. This is weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Nene Leakes, she was on Wendy. She has been making the virtual talk show circuit. We're trying to get her on our show, but she is piecing out Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I don't know. I kind of feel like she's done this before already, you know, and I don't know if it's like a PR thing or like a stunt.
Well, what is she going to do?
I guess keep selling her clothes and her heels and, you know, just doing her thing. But, I mean, I know come on, she's one of the biggest stars.
She is, and you know, I think that if she does leave, I'm cool with that because you leave on the up note. You know, they're not firing her. She's leaving on her own. She has other ventures, and maybe this has run out for her.
Oh, and I will say one thing too. Like during this like premiere week of all these television shows that are coming out that have come out so far, including us, like has the wig like game gone up some notches because Wendy came out with some fierce strong wig. Like everyone's, I mean, like, you know, I got some inches.
They had number time to work on the wig, so it's all good.
Speaking of daytime shows, okay, so Ellen finally comes out, and
well, not in the way that you.
Well, yeah, I mean, she came out a while back, but to address all the drama that was happening with all the allegations over the summer. So it was kind of like an apology, it was weird. And then she had Tiffany Haddish as like her first guest, and it almost seems like she was bringing on like, you know, some power hitters to like cheer her on and be like, Ellen, you did everything for us, you're amazing. But I don't.
It's not genuine.
And for me, she looked kind of sad. Like,
and maybe she is. I mean, at the end of the day, there may be some unresolved issues that she still hasn't resolved. Some are saying that she didn't take full ownership of the things that were happening on set and behind the scenes. So I think that people are still waiting for her to kind of figure that part out and for her to take full ownership. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, instead of her focusing on just being kind, I think she should focus on just being her true self.
Yeah.
And let them all just kind of, you know, play out. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We shall see.
Oh, check this out. So Rolling Stone.
I am rolling my eyes, okay?
Rolling Stone has named The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill as the #1 top best in the whole wide world hip hop album of all time.
I want to know.
I'm gonna let that simmer or let you steam. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that album though.
Oh, it is one of the best albums I've ever purchased. But I'm not going to say it's the best rap album of all time. I mean, what are they basing this on?
I don't know, but
who's on the committee?
I want to know. I want to know how many people of color and black are on this committee who voted.
Okay.
and then we'll see.
Listen.
Who the #1 album really was.
Listen. And of course.
Speaking of like rooting and #1s, let's talk about the Emmys and how oh my goodness, the list of winners. I mean, the stage was like melanated for the gods.
Yes.
Here's like a list. Go to essence.com. Maya Rudolph wins Outstanding Guest Actress. Eddie Murphy. Dave Chappelle wins for Outstanding Writing for Variety Special. RuPaul won again, Snatching Wigs.
Listen.
Michael Jordan. Regina King, Outstanding Lead Actress.
Listen, the Watchmen came and got their awards, the medal on Emmys night. And Tyler Perry, the Governor's Award?
Yeah. He's a billionaire now.
Yes,
Zendaya,
he is.
so I mean, like, the list goes on and on. So congratulations to all those Emmy winners. That's a lot of steamers. So, yeah.
So those are our steamers. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with our Mocha Marbles and Piping Hot topics.
Piping hot. It's been a hot minute.
Yes, it has.
Hey you guys, it's your girl, it's Elizabeth Carter Designs. I'm letting you know that Fashion Week is here. All right, we are going digital edition. That means we are going virtual. That means we are coming to you. All right, we are joining you in your living room. So please, Friday the 25th, check us out. Check us out, you guys. We are evolving. Times are changing as fashion does every year. So please join us Friday the 25th, digital edition, Tampa Bay Fashion Week. Bye, y'all.
Mocha in the Morning is brought to you in part by the Portico Cafe, where conversation, connection, and community create change.
Hello, it is Keisha Boyd with Mocha in the Morning, and before we even get good into piping hot this morning, I had to reflect on the life of Breonna Taylor and the fact that a grand jury decided that her life didn't matter enough to truly give her justice, her family justice, our culture's, some justice. It's unfortunate, but I'm not surprised, unfortunately, that this verdict came back, and all three of these officers are free. They gave a frivolous charge to one of the officers with a $15,000 bail, which means he's probably at home right now, enjoying his weekday shows. There are not a lot of words to say. I'm wearing a Man Born Black or a Born Black shirt today, and I'm proud to be Black. Wouldn't trade it for the world. This is another, devastating blow to our culture, to the movement. But like the lion you see behind me, we will continue to rise up, and our strength, our power will continue to be what will lead us. We are resilient people, and we've endured quite a bit since being in this country, since being on this earth, and we will get through this. We send our condolences, we send our prayers and our thoughts to her family, and this is another example of why we must vote, why we must get involved in our communities and our local elections and be involved in policy. We have to take our seats or create our own tables to make a difference in our communities. So from Mocha in the Morning and all of our Mocha Marvels, we just wanted to speak on the life of Breonna Taylor and the unfortunate situation there in Louisville. Stay tuned for more Piping Hot. It's coming up. Welcome back to Mocha in the Morning, where we're adding a little flavor to your morning blend. I am your host, Miss Keisha Boyd, and it is time for Piping Hot. And of course, in order for me to have a great Piping Hot segment, I need my Mocha Marvels, and I know that you guys have missed them tremendously, as I have. So let me introduce my sisters. Miss Kenya Woodard.
Hi, everybody. So glad to see you.
All right, Kia.
I'm sorry. Hey, what's up? I'm so excited that we're back. Yay.
She was so excited that she didn't unmute. And of course, Dr. Jen Dobson.
Hi, good morning. I'm so glad that we're starting the new season. Yes.
Ladies, this is season 4. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh.
No.
Listen, let's just jump right in. There's so much has happened, but there's so much that's still happening right now. First of all, arrest the officers that killed Breonna Taylor. We've been waiting for a while. Listen, the state has declared an emergency, awaiting the decision from the Attorney General. Kia, give us an update on this.
So there's actually a lot going on right now. So there's a state of emergency. They've actually enacted the National Guard. They've actually done more preparing for the so-called possible riots than they actually did to raid Breonna Taylor's home. And that's the part that I feel people are a lot of concerned about. Like, you guys have been planning for this riot, whatever riot or protest plans that happened for weeks. Did you guys put this much planning into the raid that took place in their home, even though the guy was already arrested? And you guys were at the wrong door. Did any of the planning go into that? So, I mean, all we can do now is just see what happens. We can hope for the best, but in these types of situations, we haven't seen the positive side of it. I'm hoping that this will be different because it seems very black and white, but who knows?
All right. So, Kenya, with all these things going on, with things, the protests that they're planning, I mean, there are people that are going to protest everywhere if this announcement is not what we want, right? But in the state of Florida where we live, Governor DeSantis is trying to lay down the law for protesters and looters. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so he came out with this bill, if you will, this legislation that he wants to pass, where basically, if you are a protester and you're standing in the street obstructing traffic, if the driver should decide to hit you, they won't be liable for, any charges or damages or anything like that. It's kind of his way of, pretty much telling protesters here, hey, don't do that, or I don't support you. So it's interesting to see how this is going to develop. We're still some months away from the legislature being in session, but the goal here is to get support from his base and from other Republican legislators to support and get behind this.
And I saw something about a third degree felony that people will be charged with. It's just a little bit of ridiculous, in my opinion. But we won't waste too much time talking about Florida's governor. Bloomberg, however, has been saying that he's going to donate millions of dollars, okay, to the state of Florida to allow convicted felons who still have fines to vote in this election. Jen, like, what would that do for the state and the election coming up?
Well, I mean, it makes a big difference. I mean, the thing is that unfortunately, we know that there is a disproportionate number of Black and brown skinned people that have felonies or have been imprisoned for one reason or another. And the expectation is that a large majority of those people would end up voting potentially for Biden and vote for Democratic parties. So if we actually start to see more of these people being able to vote, I think we'll see a big shift in, who gets voted in these elections. So it could be a really big thing.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that needs to happen, and I really, really hope that people take advantage of the restoration, like coalition and all these other organizations that are trying to help lift that burden so that we can have these convicted felons' rights restored. Now, speaking of the election, let's talk about the notorious RBG. Okay, we lost a great woman a couple of weeks ago, and I mean, just the things that she's done for this country and for women specifically, and we're talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, by the way, are just astronomical. Kia, talk to us about the loss we suffered with losing RBG and what's ahead and at stake during this election season with it.
I mean, RIP to the GOAT. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was an icon, and I don't know if a lot of you all remember this, but a lot of people didn't know who she was, and then she had a resurgence. I want to say, was it maybe 6 or 7 years ago, where it's like, oh, she's so frail, and she showed herself in the gym and her morning routine, and she really showed people that you can have a changing career or a life all the way up to your last day. And she's fought for women, she's fought for families. It's been amazing, and what's so sad about that, we can't even really mourn her death, because now the next step is trying to fill her seat. That's the new argument going on in Congress, in the Senate, and we are going to end up having a majority conservative Supreme Court, which is good in some ways and bad in some ways. I mean, I never think that it should be a 7-3 vote in the Supreme Court. That no one should ever have that much of a majority. So I'm a little concerned about that, even as a Republican, because you want it to be fair to everybody.
Right.
But I also wish we had enough time to actually just mourn Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death.
Yeah, I mean, and Kenya, did he forget that when it was Obama's term, he said, we should wait till the election? Did he forget that he said that?
Nah, of course course he didn't forget. But I mean, this is a president rather, and this is an administration that, does whatever it wants. So this expectation that they were gonna, hold back and wait until after the election to start talking about a replacement for Ruth Bader Ginsburg is just, that's hooey. I think anybody who's been paying attention knows that he was going to move as fast as he possibly could, especially with the Republican at the head of with the Republican-led Senate. He was going to move very fast to find someone to, replace Justice Ginsburg, and that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah, and I think it's quite unfortunate as well. So we'll hope for the best and see what happens. Now, obviously the election is stemming around quite a few things, especially the continuous impact of the pandemic, COVID-19, and there's so many things happening around COVID-19. One that I can definitely attest to is school, right? We're separate, but equal, right? So to say. Schools are sending kids, schools can go, kids can go back to school, or they can be virtual, or they can do a little bit of both. I have a 4-year-old in pre-K, and I've opted not to send him to school just because I have the luxury to work from home. That is not the case for everyone who does need to send their kids to school. And I know, Kia, your mom as well. So talk to me about your experience with your son.
So a lot of you guys may have heard that I talked about my son on the show. He is special needs. So, I mean, he's definitely high functioning. He's awesome, but he has special needs. And me and my husband went back and forth about this, about him going back to school, but we had to make a decision about his education. And we decided to send him back to school. And at first, his school, the original school he was at, which we really weren't a fan of, only had 3 kids in his class. So we were comfortable. But then we decided to send him to the much better school that was more equipped. And now there became more kids in his class, which is about 10. Now parents in Orange County, I think Hillsborough County, and one other county, today was a decision to make to send your child back to physical school. In Orange County alone, 953 students want to go back to physical school because they don't like the online learning system. Special needs parents like myself had to send their kids to school. The online program was not set up for special needs kids. It was not. And it's no fault of their own. They try to do a one-size-fits-all for this. And that's not how education works at the elementary level, middle school, high school, or college level. I mean, we're all college graduates. We all learn differently. So why would we think that kids would be any different?
Absolutely. And Kenya, one thing the producer just pointed out, which I thought was surprising actually, was that wealthy parents are more likely to send their kids back to school. Why do you think that is?
I think because in a lot of ways, they, excuse me, are, they have those other supportive resources around them to help them, with returning their children back to school. And then also there is the whole notion that, there are going to be, fewer kids in the classroom, less chance of, kids getting sick, what have you. I think the one thing that this whole situation has revealed is that there is a huge tech gap. And so what you're seeing happening is that even though parents who can choose to keep their kids at home, a lot of them are realizing that it's not the best thing because they're using internet by hotspot, or they don't have the bandwidth necessary to do everything, work from home and have kids go to school online. It's getting to be really tough. So
I just really quick want to say something. Imagine if you are a parent and you're, an African, a parent of color or a poor parent, and you have 4 or 5 children. No parent who has 4 or 5 children has 4 or 5 separate computers or laptops or devices. It's kids literally sharing, which is kind of sad. And another thing about the wealthy parents, me and my friends were talking, quick story, this happened last week, and then we heard a group of moms saying they were sending their kids back to school just because they needed their me time. These were wealthy women. We saw the car they got up. They just wanted their me time back. That's what they were sending their kids back to school. And I was like, dude, there are people really who can't just have their me time. They're just trying to go to work.
Yeah. And black and brown parents are afraid because they can't afford the health care. They can't afford for their kids to be infected. And Jen, I know that you can talk to us about how COVID-19 is affecting women of color, specifically raising children.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers are staggering. I mean, we already know that there's an inequality with the pay that women get versus men. I think everybody's pretty much aware of that. We also know that Black women are making less money than all the other groups, so we're aware of that. But now the key here is that we're seeing that Black women specifically are losing their jobs, and because of the fact that we already have a wealth gap for Black women, even just coming out of that, even if they got their jobs back, the long term effects that that has will go on for not just this generation, but can actually go into the following as well. Forecasts are saying that 232 million women will be in poverty by 2030.
Because of the
232
pandemic? Was that because of the pandemic? Wow.
because of the pandemic. So obviously, we already know that there was already an issue with women in poverty already. But now we're seeing that because of the pandemic and the loss of income and the long term effects, we're seeing that less people are graduating college because they have to go back into the workforce. They have to help their parents, they have to help their kids. They need that additional income. They had loss in wages. All of this will have a long term effect. They're going to end up earning less over the life of their lifetime because of the pandemic. So it has a huge impact. NAACP also talks about how Black students have the highest number of reduced or free lunches, and that affects them because now their ability to get meals that they need is impacted.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing these huge gaps in the Black and brown communities with regards to just things that are taken for granted by upper and middle class people. Food, just being able to eat on a daily basis.
Right.
And also, one thing that I think is really important to note as well, that's really important for women, is that because of this crisis, we're seeing much larger numbers of abused women,
Yes.
Wow.
larger numbers of women who are sexually exploited.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are really important to understand because Black women are going to go through all of these issues due to COVID and due to loss of income.
Can I ask Jen one question? I know we have to move on. I said one question because I saw this in the article. They're saying how the middle class is now being revealed as the highest debt holders, and now that debt, like the roosters are coming home, and those people can't handle their debt. I read an article where one couple had $1,000 a month due on their credit card bill, and trying to figure out how to pay it. Like, how do these middle class people have all this debt and it's been hidden until now? Like, it seems weird. You're not middle class if you have that much debt. That, I guess that's just my opinion.
That doesn't surprise me at all, but I see it on a regular basis. So, a lot of times middle class is trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? So you got two
Yeah.
cars, TV in every room. You try to buy a nice house. You want to be in a nice community. You want your kids to go to a good school. You want all of these things, and your income is just barely keeping up. So the minute one parent loses their income,
Yeah,
guess
poverty.
what? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
instantly. I mean, stats say that the majority of Americans are one paycheck away from poverty. One paycheck.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
imagine what COVID has done
Yeah.
to the middle class people. So yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that is a lot of great content. My goodness. And I mean, I just lift those who are struggling in various ways, not just financially, mentally, physically, through this. We just have to keep them lifted and check on people. Check on your people. Check on your people. I mean, you never know what people are going through.
Hey
Um,
Keisha, and I'm
yeah.
sorry I'm the person with all the questions because I missed you
Yeah.
guys so much. Never get to ask you stuff. But what would help you send your son back to school? Like, what are you? Are you waiting on a vaccine? Are you wanting the class size to be smaller? What are you?
You know what? Honestly, the class size is small enough. It's only 5 kids in his classroom. I'm just not willing to take the risk. I'm just,
Okay.
I'm just not, just not. And I'm just
Yeah.
not comfortable. That's all. All right, so let's move on and wrap this up. In the wake of COVID and quarantine, our entertainers and athletes have stepped up, y'all. Like we have seen at the beginning of the NBA season, how the Milwaukee Bucks set off a trend and boycotted the playoffs. You see them with their jerseys with Black Lives Matter and equality and all that stuff on their jerseys. Can you talk to us about that and the things that are happening with Naomi Osaka, and what she represented, during the U.S. Open, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so remember, it wasn't too long ago where there was this outcry, poo-pooing athletes taking a stand politically on any issue and, kind of mixing it in with the sport. And here we are just a few years later, and we've got this explosion, if you will, of athletes. Naomi wearing, a mask with the names of shooting victims,
and her hairpins,
victims of police brutality, her hair, her hairstyle, the NBA putting Black Lives Matters on the flooring of the basketball courts. I mean, and the shirts. And the WNBA. Oh my gosh. Have you seen their t-shirts that some of the teams are wearing? I mean, they're making very bold statements. This isn't, kind of like patting on the head or, giving a subtle signal that they are, about business. They are explicitly putting out there. Now, there are some sports more than others. The NFL, I'm not sure exactly what they were thinking, with the Black anthem. I mean, great and everything, but I don't recall anybody really particularly asking for that specifically, but okay, whatever. But remember, this is the sport that, just a couple of years ago, a lot of the teams were putting in these policies that, footballers couldn't kneel and, do anything. And now you have it where, they're actually making some effort. So I guess whatever, but it's been really refreshing to see a lot of athletes be front and center on these issues.
And there's a thing too about being, performative versus impactful, right?
Right.
With these antics. So, Kia, do you think that it's making an impact? Do you think that it's hitting them where it hurts, mostly in the pockets?
No.
No.
Sorry, I need to expand on that, but I don't feel like it's not hitting. It's not hitting the right people in their pockets. This would be more effective, and I hate to say this, if this wasn't happening during a pandemic, where there's a crowd full of people, where we've got athletes being able to travel and do their regular commercials and their Gatorade this and that, it would have a bigger impact. Nobody is watching the NBA. Their numbers are so far down, it is hurting everybody. And I get it, the NBA is using this as, they're really going hard in the paint, but I feel like they're going hard in the paint because they can. Do they want to get booed by their fans while they're up there and have all these people upset with them and this brand and that brand? They don't have to worry about that. They're literally in a bubble. They're literally in the bubble. It's them and TNT. So is this being effective? Not really. Does anybody care? I don't. I think Naomi Osaka is doing a much better job of making an impact than they are. Sorry.
What about you, Jen? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. It's just, it's not enough of an impact. Exactly what Kia said. If it was big crowds and people there and everybody could see it, but there's so much going on social media right now. There's so many places that we're turning to that, people hear about it, but it's not like a big buzz. And it's like, oh, okay. It's just not going to make enough of a difference. If they continue it next year and the year after, that's a whole different ballgame. But right now, it's just,
That's what I believe too. We'll see how it continues. And then we'll see if they are putting their money where their mouth is and truly believe in what they're saying. Exactly. All right, ladies, that is it for Piping Hot. Thank you so much for joining us once again. We certainly appreciate your input, your expertise, and your beautiful, beautiful faces, of course. We'll have more Mocha in the Morning when we return. Stay right there.
Bye.
Bye.
Mocha in the Morning's Piping Hot Topics has been brought to you by Patty's Peppers, Hungarian hot and sweet peppers. Which will you choose? Why not both?
We would like to welcome one of our new partners to the show, Patty's Peppers, Hungarian hot and sweet peppers.
And they come in this zesty garlic and sweet heat. And just because you are a Mocha Marvel, you can get them for 50% off. Just use the promo code MOCHA.
That's right. Welcome.
So Keisha, which ones are you going to get?
I'll take the sweet.
Well, why get one when you can get both?
That's right.
Hey everybody, don't go anywhere because the Mocha Minute is up next. Brought to you by blackinthebay.com, keeping you connected to everything black in the Bay.
Your Mocha Minute is brought to you by blackinthebay.com, your online connection to everything that's black in the Bay.
Hey everyone, check out this Mocha moment.
All right, listen, this
Ooh.
first episode, okay, of Mocha in the Morning was jam-packed. Once again, this is the first episode of season 4. We had an absolute ball this Friday morning, and we thank you so much for supporting us, for tuning in. But most importantly, we want more Mocha Marvel.
Yes.
So that means you must share, tell a friend, host a watch party, all that good stuff. Or hey, tell them where they can find us.
You can find us on every social media platform. Just make sure you look for @Mocha Morning Show. And I'll see everybody tonight at the Big Fashion Week.
Yes, come dressed to impress, okay? Somebody might
Virtually.
Virtually, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We have nowhere to go. Dress up anyway and just come to the fashion show and watch Jorge do his thing, all right? So much more to come for this season. We appreciate you. Mwah. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And we'll see you next week on Mocha in the Morning, where we're adding a little flavor to your morning blend.
Casket or casket.